You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Okay, check this. Deli Boys on Hulu. Two brothers, Raj and Mir, are living the high life. Not a care in the world. When their old man dies, it all vanishes. Poof! And they find out he didn't just own a deli, but he was a drug kingpin. And they're like, what the? Throw in their ruthless aunt, some guys who want to kill them, and keeping dad's drug business going. Sounds amazing, right? Deli Boys is now streaming on Hulu.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
In a few days, we're going to put on for sale and give you all of the information on this Poppy Challenge. We've got Poppy coming out of retirement. We're going to have a few people come out of retirement. Poppy's mad because the artists are taking liberties with his body. He says that's not his? Well, he says it's not his, but my mother and I say it is his body. But there's no way of knowing who the NFL legend is that he's going to challenge in Domino's April 13th.
It's Hawk.
No, not a Bones player.
Huh. Could have told by the...
Don't know how to play dominoes.
Not a legend either.
That hurts. That hurts.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
I'm a legend
Hold
to a
on.
lot of people, Dan.
Hold the hell on. We're not going to do this. Do you remember that first touchdown pass he caught?
Thank you.
Come on now.
Tee it up. Do we have that on tap? Because clearly, I don't think you realize the pioneer that I am to sub 5'9" football players.
I don't believe. Okay. So are you okay? You're making a qualification that I was not making, because if it's a legend to 5'9" football players, if it's an amusement ride and I have to stand and be this tall to get on the ride, then I will allow the fact that. And I don't mean it as an insult to say. Look, man,
I'm insulted right now.
I'm insulted. Why wouldn't I be an NFL legend?
Yeah.
I mean, I was 50 under 40 in The Athletic, the famed publication that you guys talked about this Jimmy Butler article in. That sounds like an NFL legend to me.
Then Hawk was offensive. You're offensive.
Thank you. I mean, continue, Dan.
Okay, by the way, we can't play NFL clips. We can apparently play Along Came Polly, but we can't.
No sound, though.
NFL.
No sound. Yeah, that was no sound.
Make it right.
Luckily, my highlights don't need sound.
I don't mean it as an insult to you. You keep taking things that I say here as a diminishment of your skill. To say someone is not a legend is not to insult them.
I would say he's Brown's legend status.
I would say you're wrong.
He's a luminary for the Browns, no doubt.
You try to make confirming the legend, and now you're saying
luminary.
Hawk, is it?
Luminary's good.
That dude ain't no legend.
Let me speak on behalf of Browns fans, because when I was one, it honestly says more about the franchise since they came back. But Hawk is a legend.
We don't need to go into that.
Sorry,
all-decade team for the Browns.
He's like he's better than Devon Bess, and everyone in town loved Devon Bess. He's a luminary.
Let me put it this way. If someone asked me, name good Browns players ever. First one is Jim Brown, obviously. Number two.
This is clearly the standard we should all be
I'm
using.
just saying. Jim Brown, Myles Garrett,
Antonio,
Joe Thomas,
Kevin,
Hawk, number 4.
Probably
Mount Rushmore.
Like I feel like I insulted you by invoking Devon Bess.
Yeah, that was
you
good.
were. No, you were really good for the Browns.
Thank you.
You were. He is a luminary, and also he stuck around the franchise. He had an opportunity to go to New England, and he's like, no, I like the bad shit. I'm going to start a podcast with Joe Thomas because I like the bad shit.
I like chaos.
No.
I operate great in chaos.
Also, you know what? Culture starts with, Dan, since you love that word so much. It starts with someone saying, I'm not going to run when things get hard.
Come on
I'm
now.
staying right here.
That sounds legendary.
Him and Joe Thomas said, hey, it'd be easy to, go join the Patriots, be bandwagoners, win rings and stuff. No. Be the change you want to see in the world, Dan.
Win rings and stuff, no.
No.
Look, Joe Thomas had the opportunity. You were there, right, when Joe and Peyton wanted him to go over to Denver, and Joe Thomas almost got traded to Denver.
Yes.
You had the opportunity to play with Brady. These are guys that were on a football team that won one game in 2 seasons.
I was okay with my status as a legendary NFL player, Dan.
You are smarter than what is happening right now.
What are you talking about? I know that.
No, I'm about to explain
I'm always
to you.
smarter than what's happening.
This is what just happened, okay?
All right.
You disagree with me for saying that you're not a legend. You get offended. You turn to Mike, and then what does Mike say? Mike says something that I totally agree with. He's like,
Hawk's
you
a
were
legend.
very good and you were a luminary. He never said you were a legend. He said you were very good and that you were a luminary, and I would say the same thing, but he's saying it in a different tone, and so you're agreeing with him even though he's saying the same thing I'm saying.
He's trying to shove you under the bus, Mike.
He really is, but he's a classic shit stirrer. In talking it out, I now see the light. You are indeed a legend.
No,
Devon Best
there
thing.
we go.
No,
The Devon Best.
It made me realize, like, wait a second, Devon Best? No, Hawk was way better than Devon Best.
You know what?
Thank you.
Devon Best is a luminary.
And you called Devon Best a legend.
This is still America.
Devon Best was good, though.
This is still America.
Let me put that out there.
I love that Hawaii team, right?
Oh,
Bryce
my
Mullen?
gosh. Out of the slot, I was like, I used to watch his film like, damn.
They should call you
kid got
Andrew
it.
Best.
That-
And honestly,
With a T.
the reason why Devon Best was on my mind is I'm pretty sure Poppy's fighting him. Because the teaser that I saw on the placard that went up on the main feed, it looks like your dad is fighting Devon
There
Best.
is no telling who my father is going up against.
Or Chief Keef.
But we will give.
I'm almost sure that's Ricky Williams.
I love at the bottom, it says, if the coward accepts. So he hasn't said yes yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
No, we might have to throw Andrew Hawkins in there and just
You should have said that.
claim he's a legend.
You should have said, but Andrew Hawkins is not a coward. I would have been okay with that.
There you go.
It might actually be Devon Best.
I want to talk to you about some of the football things going on because I was surprised. Perhaps I should not have been. Oh, so Joey Bosa is just going to be released. Okay, that's how we're doing that one. DK Metcalf is just going to ask for a trade. He's going to leave Seattle because his contract is up in a year. Max Crosby is going to stay with the Raiders, going to be paid more than any non-quarterback in the entire league. And Mike Florio is saying that if Sam Darnold signs a 2-year deal in Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy is going to ask for a trade. And your thoughts there, Andrew, on all of those things and NFL free agency or what?
Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun to be able to make moves that matter, that surprise you? I think for so long in the NFL, it was like, you know they're not going to trade this player. You know that this guy is going to have an okay market when he hits free agency. To have like actual sparks, it does feel like the NBA feels around free agency. Like J.J. McCarthy potentially being traded after not taking a snap and being as highly drafted as he is, that's special because it could potentially change the trajectory of another franchise who needs a quarterback but not in position to do so.
Let me talk to you about this Minnesota situation because they got unmasked in the playoffs the way we thought they would get unmasked with Darnold being Darnold.
Yes.
Not totally fair to have a road game after they had that kind of season, and fires made things complicated.
It was in Arizona, their road game.
Yes, like it's
They were playing a team not from Arizona.
and so when I present to you the idea of if the Vikings were to do it what has been the more traditional way before the rookie quarterback, you needed to get value in the first 3 years out of him when they fast forwarded all these curves. Wouldn't the way the NFL would have done this at any time previously in his history is you get Sam Darnold for 2 more years and you allow J.J. McCarthy to work his way into the position over 3 years? Like that's how we would do it. That's how Aaron Rodgers did it under Brett Favre, right? Not that they're the same person, but but once you draft McCarthy, the finances of it are such that you need to play him, correct?
Yeah, I agree with that take. I actually think they should let Sam Darnold walk, which is crazy because he had the season that he had, and you don't typically see a quarterback hit free agency that had that kind of year. But when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, if I am them, I'm looking at Kirk Cousins, and I'm looking at Sam Darnold, and I'm looking at them, Sam Darnold previously, and also Kirk Cousins after he left. And I'm going to say, I think I have the guy in KOC that can get me the max amount of production from J.J. McCarthy under this system like I've done with the other 2 quarterbacks. There's not going to be a plethora of people lining up for Sam Darnold. Like, it's going to be quarterback needy teams, but there's still going to be the, we've seen him in other situations. And the same goes for Kirk Cousins. I think you take advantage of that rookie contract so you can continue to build the roster around him.
I think the Minnesota Vikings are more valuable to a quarterback than Sam Darnold is to a team. Like, the skill people Minnesota has, like, I would think someone like Kirk Cousins would be like, get me back there, please. I don't understand what happened with Kirk Cousins last year, where the GM is like, I didn't know his arm was hurt, and he falls off being able to throw a football 9 games into the season, and we're all like, how is that a noodle arm all of a sudden? I want to be the quarterback in Minnesota. I would think that Minnesota is more attractive to quarterbacks than Sam Darnold is to teams.
I think that's a great assessment. I think with what they have as coaching staff, even organizationally. Shout out to Josh McCown, another Browns and NFL legend. I'm not going to let Dan say anything different. Who's a quarterback coach there in KOC. Kevin O'Connell, who runs the offense. I do think that is a more attractive proposition than Sam Darnold. And that's not a knock on Sam Darnold. It's great for the season that he had, but there's still such a risk associated with it. And it was, magnified on the biggest stage in the biggest game of the magical season.
Well, I mean, this reminds me of Miami Heat circa 10 years ago, where it's like, your thing is we find diamonds in the rough. We the rock that no one wanted, I take a pause and say, oh, it's pretty good. So
Caleb Martin, not bad.
Birdman.
The guy I think about is Hassan Whiteside, Deion Waiters, and James Johnson, right? Because those guys played well, and then the Heat were like, we have to pay them. I'm like, no, what their going rate is at? Okay, have fun, congratulations. I hope you have a great career somewhere else and get paid what you need to get paid.
They finally learned that lesson.
So the Vikings are saying, wait, hold on. We're the ones that make Kirk Cousins look like this. We probably did the same thing with Sam Darnold. If someone wants to pay him that, via con Dios.
They
all
gotta
good.
Trust it. They got to trust the organization.
You got to trust that we're the ones, whether it's the receiving core, whether it's the offensive coordinator, whatever it is.
That's it.
We make quarterbacks here. We don't have to pay for quarterbacks unless they are the next coming, which we all agree Sam Darnold is not.
That's business. That is like when you do any business deal, you want to be the piece of the deal that is the value. You're connected to me, and then when you leave me, you won't be as successful. And I got to trust myself in that is the case. That's what the Patriots did for years.
I also am curious because Dan said, you could put me at quarterback. And now I'm
what a visual.
Imagining Dan starting at quarterback for the Vikings.
Man.
Yellow nachos.
I don't think I said you could put me at quarterback.
You did say it like
Omaha
you said
steaks.
The phrase "me at quarterback" came out of your mouth, and me locked eyes.
The thing that we're discussing right now, I can't believe that in 2025 I'm having a conversation about Sam Darnold being worth money at quarterback. They just did it with any quarterback. That's any quarterback. I've seen enough of Sam Darnold over the entirety of my life to know when Sam Darnold is being something that his talent level and when it's being manufactured for him. And there are only 2 teams that I believe could have done that for him, San Francisco and Minnesota. I don't think there's a third.
San Francisco kind of did it for him, too.
I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to disagree with that. Not fully. Number one, I don't believe Dan could play quarterback in the NFL. I am 1,000% certain he could not do anything.
I could throw a bubble screen, just a quick bubble screen.
No, it would be pick
That's
six.
a big bubble.
Okay, as an NFL legend, I can promise you will not complete a bubble screen. All right? Number 2, what Sam Darnold has, because, I don't want to position him just as a pedestrian. Like, yeah, he's not lived up to the expectation, and that is how you judge players. From where you came in your expectation, how below or above you get to that. Last year was the first glimpse we saw him above, but he has the tangibles. Whenever you're drafted top 10, you have the physical tools to be elite. And that's what he showed, that to your point, when you mix that with great offensive strategy and a coach who understands quarterbacks and how to maximize it, you take advantage of that elite level talent that not every quarterback in the NFL has just because you're there.
Hold on. You're telling me that Dan can't hike and just throw a quick pass out?
No. Absolutely
I think he could do that. Now, he might get killed on that.
Both things will be true. He will be killed, and it won't be completed.
Okay, so listen to me. You're correct, Andrew Hawkins, that Sam Darnold, was he drafted 6th? He's got a skill set that would get you drafted within the top 6 In the
Third overall.
Top 5.
All right, third overall. So that skill set is not up for dispute. I'm just saying that there are a lot of quarterbacks that I can grab from any pile of top 3 picks who haven't had success, and I can do with them what Sam Darnold has done, because my analysis is not unlike these announcers who were calling the playoff game and had it all figured out from outside the pocket.
He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man.
Blue cheese! Blue cheese!
Red velvet!
I'm doing a thing, Dan. No one out pizzas a hut!
No one out pizzas the hut. That's damn good.
Look.
That's damn good, Mike.
Did you say look?
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot of great football, and I've actually recused myself from talking because this whole segment, nobody should have been looking. I don't get why Hawk doesn't get it. Hawk doesn't get it. Don't look now, buddy.
Oh, man. Don't look now.
It's time for a new game. Don't look now.
That's it? That's our imaging? It's time for a new game.
Whose voice is that?
Is that Boy?
What happens, like, in a month? Is it still a new game?
It's a new game.
All right. Who's going first? Because we got 2 guys who are blindfolded right now. We got
Who's
Mike.
blindfolded?
We got
It's clever. Tony has his glasses on top of the blindfold.
Oh, what's this? Oh, that's Mike. Dan, don't look now. But did you know that quietly... Oh, it's somebody's cord there. Where's my mic? There it is. Dan, did you know quietly the Kansas City Chiefs traded all-pro guard Joe Thuney to the Bears? Just quiet. Under the rug. Shh. Quiet.
It wasn't that quiet.
Don't look now.
Close your eyes.
Do not look now.
I'm talking about our first take.
Oh, God. Don't look now. But the Cowboys also restructured Dak's contract, who obviously we know just made $240 million last year. They're restructuring to add $36 million worth of cap to their budget. Thank you.
I like this game.
How long is that cord?
I don't know. It's wrapped around me like 6 times.
What else do you have, Tony? Because as an audio bit, this doesn't really work.
Well, no, here's the thing.
problem.
Usually somebody else gives a take. They're looking, and then I tell them don't look.
Because you can't look.
But
That's
right,
the
because
problem.
I don't know who's going to talk, Dan. That's the thing.
What was great is he did actually try to look around the room for eye contact with either me or Chris to speak, but
Right.
you can't see.
Well, so here's the thing, though.
Mike just tripped over a couch?
This show requires chemistry, and it's supposed to be an audio show first, not a video show. Mike has hurt himself. Frankie is helping him. That's
This is high comedy,
That's
though.
a liability.
He might have really hurt himself.
That's a corporate liability. Tony, just give us all your football, and just assume when you stop talking, Hawkins will have some great expertise.
Okay, excellent.
I'm trying to get the bit first.
Well, the bit. Are you looking?
It's fine. He's trying to look.
He's
These are
wearing
prescription
a
glasses?
monocle of some sort, so he's definitely looking. He's looking. He's not.
I might be looking too much.
He's not. Well, you are looking too much.
Oh, he's using Skipper's glasses. Those are the ones that Skipper uses?
I do believe you can use those.
Yeah, they're prescription, so I can't see.
You can't.
out of
It's
them.
don't look now.
Don't look
Don't.
now.
He's not, because he just told you the prescription. You can't see through
I
him,
can't
so
see anything.
Technically, he's not looking.
Yeah.
Excellent. And by the way, Dan, I'm obviously listening through auditory mediums because I can't see. The show's working perfectly, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just letting you know that because
Okay,
you're
but-
watching. I'm not watching. I'm listening.
But
We've got you there.
I don't like excluding the audio audience with video bits.
I'm with them. I'm with them right now and listening. So here's the thing. We have a lot of free agents, a lot of big names moving around. Could we see in the conversation that you were having about J.J. McCarthy, about Sam Darnold, should they sit McCarthy? Should they pay Sam Darnold? What if...
Don't look.
Don't look, though. What if a team signs... I know this is going to be crazy. What if a team in the top 3 signs Aaron Rodgers? Maybe the Giants sign Aaron Rodgers. You draft Cam Ward. You allow him to sit a couple of years, try to pick Aaron Rodgers, the good football part of Aaron Rodgers' brain.
Man.
You let him kind of coagulate and mingle with him and figure out, okay, this is how I can be a great NFL quarterback, and then you got your guy in a couple of years. What do you
Tony,
think? Are we looking?
Not to cut you off, but don't look now. But Mike found his way to the control room, and I'm really worried that he's going to short out the circuits.
That's bad.
And we're going to get a power outage like
Yeah,
we did.
that's not good.
Oh,
yeah,
damn
this
it,
is
Mike.
not good. This is.
My God.
Well, I hate that take, Tony. So you can look at that, please.
Mike, stop. Mike,
my God.
stop hitting
You
stuff,
hate that
please.
taste.
Please.
The cameras are out, so now it really is an audio medium only.
Okay, stop.
'Cause Mike was in there.
All right, let's finish up. Let's finish it up. Don't look now, but
Is that
That's
to me?
you, Tony.
Yes, Tony. That's
I mean, I'm not looking, Dan.
That was an audio toss.
It wasn't audio toss.
Couldn't have made it a lot easier than that.
But
It's
here's the
your
thing.
segment, Tony.
Yeah, well, it's everybody's segment, Dan, by the way. But Hawk said he hated that take, so I was allowing Hawk to
I
not look
appreciate
and give
that.
me the take rebuttal.
I do not want Aaron Rodgers ruining my rookie quarterback. He is not at the I'm going to mentor you and make you better stage of his life.
Let me make this make sense for Hawk.
Please.
This segment is presented by Smirnoff. It's the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly.
There it is. So now the glasses really make sense.
Don't look now. What are your thoughts on the Giants being that? I want to go through a bunch of football stuff with you. Aaron Rodgers to
While
the
looking
Giants,
or not looking?
I want to be done
can
with.
look now.
Don't look. Don't look now.
Do you want my answer, Dan, or?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
I want Andrew Hawkins. I need Mike back in here. I need him to stop wandering around the studio knocking over sounds. And I need Andrew Hawkins. This
Splash.
professional football expertise.
Yes, legend.
Not legend,
Come
but
on.
top of the media game.
All right.
DK Metcalf requesting a trade. Your thoughts are what there?
If I'm the Seahawks, I entertain it. I don't think they're incredibly close to a championship because of their quarterback situation. Not that it's bad. I like Geno. But if I'm them, I'm collecting assets to make a rebuild to actually put you in position in a conference that has the Rams or a division with the Rams and obviously the 49ers. Now, if I'm DK, he said he wants to go to a contender. There are very few that actually have a chance. So I'm curious of which offense he could actually fit in his style. I don't think it's the Ravens. Bills, that doesn't feel like a fit to me. And really, it's Patrick Mahomes. When I'm talking about like who has the best chance of making a run at this, to me, it's those three teams. Unless the Philadelphia Eagles are saying A.J. Brown could want to go somewhere else, and that's their solution to replace him.
Houston?
I mean, I think that Nico Collins, to me,
He's your alpha one already.
Nico Collins is not a big drop-off from DK, if a drop-off at all.
No, he's not a drop-off at all. But I don't. If you're just going to a contender, does it assume that DK has to go as a number one to a contender like that?
Yes.
Because it does assume that because Philadelphia just won with 2 number ones, and when he's asking to be a number one, and I see Cincinnati's franchising T. Higgins, and I'm watching, are we going to do this the Saquon Barkley running game way, or are we going to actually try and do something where the secret is that we're going to have 2 number one wide receivers? Because I don't. The Seahawks were mad, evidently, that on the day Lockett's retiring after 10 years, regional legend.
Yeah, he's an NFL legend. I'm not going to let you disrespect.
Lockett is not an NFL legend. He's a regional legend.
There's a height requirement for you to consider somebody a legend. Is that what it is?
Put it on the poll at Lebitard Show. Is there a height requirement before you're willing to make someone a legend at Lebitard Show?
Name me some more consistent wide receivers over the last decade than Tyler Lockett. Ridiculous.
I love Tyler Lockett. I'm not saying he's
No,
very,
you don't. You
very
do not
good.
love Tyler Lockett.
Listen to me.
Yeah, put it on
You
the poll.
do not
Does
love
Dan
Tyler
love
Lockett.
Tyler Lockett?
You don't.
He does not.
You
Very
don't.
good. Luminary and the number 2 receiver on his own team.
No, he's a Seahawks legend.
Again, regional legend. I said that.
Regional
Well,
legend?
it feels like you're cutting them a little bit.
It is, because the Seahawks are still in the
Tyler
NFL.
entire
Lockett,
PNW?
Tyler Lockett was never their number 1 receiver.
So what is it? You only think Hall of Famers are legends? Is that what the criteria is?
Generally, that's where.
Definition, no.
All right, so then
Generally,
change it to
that's
Hall
not-
of Famer, Dan.
What's the definition? Like if he led the team in receiving yards, that makes him the number 1 receiver, doesn't it?
Okay. How many times did he lead the team
tell
in
you right now.
receiving yards?
But while we're at it,
That's
if you're saying
such
Hall
a
of-
but-
no big deal. Just how many times did he do it?
how many 1,000-yard seasons does Tyler Lock? I'll stand
A
down.
lot.
He's got 4.
4.
That's good.
It's 4 more than you have, Dan Lebitard.
A Lockett.
Yeah, that is
He's
true.
He's a third round pick.
This is not a diminishment of Tyler Lockett to say he's not a Hall of Fame legend.
No, it wasn't a Hall of Fame.
He might be a Seahawks Hall of Famer.
There's already a descriptor for Hall of Famer, and it's called Hall of Famer. Legend and Hall of Famer are
But
not
he'd
synonymous.
be a Seahawks Hall of Famer. He's not an NFL Hall of Famer. Those
He's
are two
still an
different Hall of
NFL
Famers.
legend.
And
though.
four separate seasons, he's led them in receiving yards.
Calling him a regional legend is really undercutting. Like, I've won 2 regional Emmys.
Tim Ruddy.
Are we really? We're putting Tyler Lockett.
The
on
Dolphins
the
celebrate
Jeremy
former center Tim Ruddy. He's not a legend.
I gotta
He's
say,
a former center.
There you go.
You're saying
Center and
DK
team
Metcalf is their number 1 receiver. Like DK barely edged him in 2022 and 2023.
Okay, so
Barely edging.
put it on the poll at Lebitard Show. Is Tyler Lockett
Definition of edging.
a legend? Just
Yes.
a question mark. I want to ask you the question I was asking you before.
Okay.
The Seahawks were mad that Adam Schefter broke the news of Metcalf's trade request on what was supposed to be the celebration of a decade-long career that, whether I diminish it or not as legendary, regionally had an emotional tie and connection to the community. Do they have any right to be angry about that? The news breaks when the news breaks. Why? I get why they'd be upset by that. It does take the shine off of Lockett's punctuation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to be in favor of diminishing the star of a legend on a day that's supposed to celebrate him, and he is a legend, not regionally, nationally, but also alongside of that, it is relevant to that conversation that you're getting rid of a staple on your team who has been the source of production at the receiver position for a decade, and the other one wants to leave. That's newsworthy and, again, connected to the fact that you're releasing Tyler Lockett.
And probably re-sign and building around Geno Smith. Like, they've committed to Geno Smith there.
Tyler is the second most prolific receiver in franchise history. He's second to Steve Largent in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. That's the only person he's behind.
So Joey Galloway.
If you're a Seahawks legend, that doesn't make you a legend of the game.
Compiler.
Like, there's difference here. Jeff Conine is a Marlins legend. He's not a legend when it comes to baseball.
You guys are doing this wrong, though. You guys are assuming.
Well, he's Dwayne Wade.
So let me, because you guys are taking insults somehow from regional legend, okay?
That sounds insulting to someone who's gone beyond the region.
You're calling Hawk and Tyler Lockett the Jeremy Tache's of football.
I mean, that's such an insult.
Actually,
not an insult.
Wait a minute. I'm not saying the Jeremy Taché. I'm saying the media South Florida Dan Lebatard of this region. I am.
Oh, see, hold on. Now, let me break this down to everybody. What Dan is trying to do is diffuse by doing the, oh, shucks, I'm just a regional. Dan, we all know you are a national legend.
Incorrect.
Guys,
International Dan.
Everyone, come on. Dan is.
I actually agree with Dan on this. He's a national, nationally, he's just a guy. Down here,
what are you talking about?
I'm just saying a guy, but he's one of the main guys. But nationally, he's just thought of as, there's a bunch of guys around that do national stuff.
His reputation is greater than Tyler
Hush your
Lockett's.
mouth. All right, you
Cuban
hush your
born.
mouth. Guys in the back, let's all give Dan the constructive kind of lift up that he's been looking for. He wants a compliment. He was fishing for it. Guess what? He caught himself a big mackerel. Dan, you are absolutely
best,
a
Dan.
media legend.
You're the
You're
best,
a media
Dan.
Hall
Yep.
of Famer, in fact.
Yep.
You
Down
and
here.
who else? No, not down here.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Nationally
Don't do
and
the regional
internationally.
thing.
Dan might be Tyler Lockett.
No, he's a national guy. He's a national guy.
Right,
Dan
known
Lebatard is highly
nationally.
questionable.
Hush your mouth. You
known
hush your mouth.
nationally. We all know Tyler Lockett.
You disrespectful.
He was H3 on
No
PTI.
Tyler Lockett?
He was H3 on PTI.
That's huge.
I mean, how much higher does it get?
H1 and 2.
Okay.
I'm with Chris Cody on this. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, Chris, you and I got this on lock.
Stop. You hosted a cable television program, a daily cable television program.
They didn't give one to Tim Cowlishaw.
Tyler Lockett was second in receiving yards for the Seahawks.
But there's clearly a place where Dan is celebrated the most.
I'm telling you, regional people went on around the horn. They represented regions. Bill Plaschke represented California and LA specifically. Cowlishaw, Texas, right? Kevin Blackens.
We got it. You know host.
Yeah,
you know
Chicago.
panelists. We got you.
Yeah.
The show's dead now.
Right,
We don't
and
talk about it
exactly.
anymore.
Guess what
2 more
show's
months.
still going on? The one with the legend.
Yes.
The national legend.
The regional legend.
No, not regional.
Interregional.
Not interregional either.
Okay, check this. Deli Boys on Hulu. 2 brothers, Raj and Nir, are living the high life. Not a care in the world. When their old man dies, it all vanishes. Poof! And they find out he didn't just own a deli, but he was a drug kingpin. And they're like, what the? Throw in their ruthless aunt, some guys who want to kill them, and keeping dad's drug business going. Sounds amazing, right? Deli Boys is now streaming on Hulu.
The Dan Lebatard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. Who's in your support system and how have they changed your life? Think about your favorite leaders, mentors, idols. They don't all have the answers, but they do know when to ask for help. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, we sometimes forget that we thrive with support. We're stronger, healthier, and more resilient when we have people to lean on. Therapy is one of the best ways to build that support system. It helps with positive coping skills, setting boundaries, and becoming the best version of yourself. Here's the thing, therapy isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. It's for everybody. Whether you're facing a big life transition, feeling overwhelmed, or just want to grow, therapy can help. That's where BetterHelp comes in. With over 30,000 credentialed therapists, you can find somebody who truly understands you. It's fully online, making therapy accessible, affordable, and convenient. No waiting rooms, no long commutes, just the support you need, whenever and wherever you need it. And by the way, if you ever feel like switching therapists, it's no cost to you whatsoever. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Mattel, Heinz, or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the business behind the business, making and selling, and for shoppers, buying. Simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. No one does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Batard, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Batard to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Batard.
Dan Le Batard.
In terms of Heat fans, you're the most irrational of us right now. What's the pivot?
Oh,
tonight?
irrational.
Stugotz.
Did you not hear your voice
tough
there?
day for my boy, dude.
Your voice. If I were making a cartoon thing that was meant to symbolize irrational, that's the voice I would give.
Entire premise.
This is the Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz.
Speaking of interregionals, I want you guys to explain to me, Mike Ryan, you as a defender of the University of Miami, because when I think of regionals and playoffs, I think of University of Miami baseball. And yesterday, they had a steak sandwich milkshake at that. The milkshake is famous.
Go on.
At what used to be Mark Light Stadium at A-Rod Field, that is now whatever it is presently called.
I think it's that.
It's still that.
Yeah.
Pitbull Field, I thought.
Don't you dare.
Okay. That milkshake is one of the famous items anywhere in college sports. But I mean, when I saw a Philadelphia cheesesteak in an ice cream milkshake, I thought that was a joke.
In the
Yeah, they did that. This was an
It's just a
unreal
little
heat
one,
check.
by the way. Just a little one.
Unreal
Top.
heat check from Mark Light Shake. I can't defend this kind of behavior. I won't. I refuse to. There's Cheese Whiz, slices of steak, bread in it. They just smashed a cheesesteak into a vanilla ice cream shake. And as someone that had the chicken wing shake, that wasn't bad. It had a piece of chicken. It had buffalo sauce in it and celery. Like, that actually worked. There's no way this works.
Try it.
Any truth to the rumor that Pat Riley had the nutritionist pull it from being sold at the games?
Look,
Yo, I'm in on this.
I'm asking.
This looks great.
look at this video.
They're just making a Philly cheese. Oh, now they're putting it in the ice cream.
Guys,
I'm in on this.
Dan, hold on a second.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Dan, have you ever put a fry in a Frosty?
Of course.
Have you ever put a chicken nugget in a Frosty?
Of course.
Have you ever put a burger in a Frosty?
No.
And tried to see what it tastes like?
Just never Cheese Whiz.
There it
First
is.
of all, I just want to point out that Tapper, you're using your bare hands. What are you doing? You're cross-contaminating anyway, you sick son of a bitch. You gotta kill somebody.
Is anybody clocking how Dan is looking at me right now for asking the Pat Riley question?
Anyone clocking how I'm looking at this milkshake?
Yeah, I am.
This is, and of course Darren Ravel was there on the scene, on the beat.
There can't be multiple people eating that. There cannot be more than one person
There's
eating
one in
that.
here right now.
Definitely.
I bet 50 people did it.
There are loyalists that will try every specialty shake.
Ethan, go get me one of those.
If I was there, I'd try it to say that I survived the Villanova specialty shake. But this one, like
when the whiz meets the ice cream, oh boys.
Salty sweet. It's a good combo.
I will say
So
the cannoli
good.
one that they had was the best specialty shake I think they've ever had.
It's not only vanilla ice cream and vanilla syrup that's topped with a mini cheesesteak sandwich.
Amina's disgusted. Like, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting. It is.
It's a
vanilla
Cheese Whiz.
syrup.
I think it's a Cheese Whiz for me.
You can't mix those
Not even the
things.
protein.
It's the Cheese Whiz. I'm cool with the
I mean, they're
steak.
both dairy.
Put the bread in there. Who cares?
I'm
The
not
Cheese Whiz.
even sure you can
Give me
eat
all of
those. Like, I'm not even sure
Want one.
it's not unpleasant to eat cheesesteak over here and then bite of ice cream and go back to cheese steak.
That's pretty much like Shake Shack's entire business model.
That's my Saturday night.
Yeah, that's fine.
Never.
Steak and Shake's business model.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people that like the salty with the sweet.
That's
but when you put it
disgusting.
together, like just imagine what the end of that milkshake may
You
taste
guys
like
have been
when everything settles.
You guys have been at a diner with like a burger and a milkshake. You take a bite of the burger, and as you're
what is it?
chewing,
Yeah, you know what,
And
guys?
as you're chewing,
take a sip.
What does that mean?
You wash it
1956?
down. You wash it down with a little milkshake.
You're a small town guy, Hawk.
You're
You know
right.
that. Come on.
I am, but this is not 1948. Why are we ordering
I love the
steaks
diner.
and shakes?
I'm gonna tell you right now. Anytime I've had a steak and a shake, I always have a glass of water because while I'm eating the food, the water is the beverage,
And then your milkshake gets all melted.
No, it does. Well, first of all, when they give me the milkshake, it's a block of ice cream. I can't
As
even.
it should be.
I can't even get it through the straw without making a scene. Basically, stop looking at me like that. And so I need it to melt a little bit, so it can. The whole purpose of a shake is it's somewhat solid and somewhat liquid. Not
Imagine
not
this one.
block.
The whole poipus.
You guys all know. You all know.
That's
the
when we play Jacksonville.
Everyone knows the time when you're drinking a milkshake and it gets a little blocked up, and you're like, "Oh, there's a block there." You lift the straw up, and there's a piece of steak blocking the straw. Oh, that's beautiful.
That is the most disgusting
So
thing
foul.
I've ever heard in
So
my life.
foul. It's so unpleasant.
You do it when it's this temperature. When I had the chicken wing shake, it was 110 degrees out.
Oh my God.
You get that Frank's Red Hot coming out of your pores.
The Andrew Hawkins just created the visual of someone on roller skates coming out to your car passenger side at the diner and putting some food on a tray that you're eating in the front seat of your car.
Like pre-McDonald's revolutionizing the process for fast food.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you pull up, I'll take a burger and a shake.
Well, to be clear,
this nice little car you got here, darling. And they go back and they roller skate and come back with the little cone.
And what, you don't
hats.
like that?
To be clear,
No.
To be clear, Hawk, they would be doing that. Not for you and I, though.
No.
We'd
It's
have to be
correct.
around back by
That's
the
right.
dumpster.
You're
Booze
longing,
in the back.
you're longing
You
for
can
a
go get
time
some
when
slops out the kitchen.
Exactly.
Tony's longing for a romantic time when Andrew Hawkins wasn't allowed to eat any of
Exactly.
that food with the white people.
Listen,
I'm talking about 2025. They got retro joints.
no, we don't want retro joints. We don't want those. Let's not retro that. All right, let's keep it.
No, I'm talking about.
Let's keep it to Jordans.
I'm talking about
well
roller.
on
Let's
our
not,
way.
let's not retro
I'm talking-
segregation, Tony.
I'm talking about roller skates, hamburgers, and pizza.
It's
Tony's
kinda,
scared.
It's
No, I'm not.
No, but hold on. It is
America's back.
a dumbass like business model, right?
It's
like,
terrible.
How can we get the food to them faster? I got it. We'll make them wear roller skates. Come on, man. Wait, first of all, were they getting paid more than they would at regular restaurants? Because I would absolutely demand more money. You need a skill set beyond being able to take an order.
And the
bring
risk of injury?
Oh, absolutely. What are the liabilities there? The insurance? Through the roof.
It was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time, Dan.
You didn't
You're
have
right.
insurance back then.
Tony just longing for the good old days.
I was just
isn't
saying
it?
it was a simpler time.
Dan, you're damn right. It was a simpler time.
They still do it at Johnny Rockets. If you go to Johnny Rockets, they're still roller skating
I have
around.
never seen a Johnny Rockets that wasn't in a mall.
No.
That's also true.
You
They're
say-
all in Orlando.
Wait a minute. You say they're still using roller skates at Johnny Rockets? They're still doing that curbside? Look, you guys like to make fun of me about an assortment of things, but just last week I was telling you Hooters can't be doing well, and then they go bankrupt 2 days later while you guys were
That was
arguing.
inside info.
I think you had a tip.
Hey, you had inside info.
He had a
Hot
tip.
tip.
What is happening
He
with,
went there.
with Johnny Rockets? Is Jeremy making that up? No one's still doing the rollerblades, are they?
Rollerblades.
When I was in
There are
college,
four.
at the
Buck
very
Rogers
least,
over
my
there.
my then girlfriend, now wife, had a roommate who worked at Johnny Rockets, and she had to work every single day on roller skates. So I can try to confirm through her.
Did you do the smiley face
Haven't talked
catch-up?
to her in about 10 years. so we'll
Smiley
figure it
face
out.
ketchup?
Yeah, of
That's
course.
always a winner.
The only time I've actually eaten at a Johnny Rockets, I take that back, Jeremy. There was one. I was scouting. I think I went to a Villanova game or a Temple game in Philadelphia, and I had to go eat. So I went down to wherever Philadelphia fooderies are, and back then it was like cash only at all the cheesesteak places. I'm like, all I got is my corporate card, man. I need to charge this. I'm not paying for this out of pocket. So I ended up going to a Johnny Rockets, and let me just say, one of the worst meals I've ever had.
That's not true.
They
Taking
burnt
out
the
Johnny
shit
Rockets.
out of that burger, man.
No, man.
It was
Johnny
dry-
Rockets is solid.
It was dry as hell.
He's
man.
back.
Every man.
Come
back.
on,
Hold
man.
on a second.
I'm a burger connoisseur. Please make no
I
mistake.
love burgers.
I would
you know
never put
burgers
them
better
in a
than I
shake.
do.
Yeah, I will crush you in burgerdom. Okay, Johnny Rockets though.
You don't know my burger.
is a fine food establishment, and actually in Cincinnati, you could
the
get
only
the
fine.
naked wings at Johnny Rockets, and you know what it was called? The Pac-Man Jones Special. Because Pac-Man Jones would go there and say, I don't want any sauces, and I'm sure he said it aggressively.
Oh.
That's my guy. He only does aggressive.
I thought it was because of the strip club in Vegas.
No. So he got the naked wings, and I would go get the Pac-Man wings when I was at Johnny Rockets. And they tasted amazing.
By the way, every time we do anything, sorry, Dan, anytime we do anything as a show, or we're going to McGillicuddy's or whatever, right? And it was like, what do we got? We got mozzarella sticks and we got we got wings. The wings are always bland, flavorless, seasonless, sauceless. Whose fault is that?
Dan's. He can only have the wing itself.
He can only have the
wing.
sauce.
Then can we get Dan's separate wings and then the rest of us get something like some lemon pepper,
King
some
eats
hot
first,
sauce?
pal.
Maybe they should name him.
That's a legend.
No,
they should name him after Dan, like a local,
how about
local
you
legend.
Amin Al-Hassan is highly questionable, and then you can have the wings how you want it.
Stan corrected. You know what? He's absolutely right. You know what? I should be purged, Dan. I should be punished. I should be flogged because I disrespected a national and international legend. Not a regional one, Christopher. A national or international legend. The wings should be any way you want, Dan, just like this show. By the way, back to you.
Andrew Hawkins, why is Joey Bosa being released?
Because we all get old, man. It just comes along with the territory. At some point, every local joker, as you like to describe NFL football players, every local joker will eventually get released. And that's essentially what it is. The money, you try to get out before you're overpaying for an aging product. And that's the situation with Joey Bosa.
The Chargers defense was very good last year. Khalil Mack has been very good there. Their pass rush is something that I fear, and Jim Harbaugh isn't going to be able to recreate defense like that. They had a legitimate pass rush at a time that we're valuing it so much that the Raiders, who are not in any way close, the Raiders have not made a playoff game or have not won a playoff game in 24 years, longer than anybody, just gave Max Crosby, who's undisputably great and the closest thing to Sons of Anarchy that there's been in the NFL at the moment, like just feels like Sons of Anarchy, all of it. They just gave him more guaranteed money than any non-quarterback. That doesn't seem like a good way to spend your money if you're not close, but the price on disrupting the quarterbacks is so high right now that whether you're Myles Garrett or Max Crosby or Joey Bosa, I would think that Joey Bosa still has a good deal of value. When you say getting old, is he 29? How old is Bosa? Do I have this totally wrong?
29,
yeah. He's been in the league for a while.
That's not young. That's not young in football years, especially on the defensive line where you're taking, wear and tear. And they've gone through this a couple of times with Joey Bosa. He's had injury issues a bunch over the years, and they've always kind of figured out because his cap hits would hit so hard, or he would miss a season or half a year or be in and out and peppered. And they've typically figured it out because he is in such good standing with the organization. In my opinion, this likely came to a point where they're like, hey, we just got to, he understood, they understood, and he's on the market. He'll be and for talking in receiver terms, he'll be a number 2 pass rusher somewhere and make somebody really good. But he's not a guy that can man the ship anymore.
There is a lot of money to be made in Jadeveon Clowney just sitting out training camp and saying, I'll give you 17 Sundays, and I'm going to go as hard as I can, and I'm just going to be a mercenary. Joey Bosa could do that for years, could he not? Like, 29 is not old. It's not young for a pass rusher, but it ain't old.
I think my surprise there is Mac, if they're looking at their pass rushers and they're looking at aging, diminishing products, I know Mac had a good year last year. It was a good bounce back year for Khalil Mack, but he's older.
5 years older.
That's what I'm saying. When I saw that with Joey Bosa, I'm like, okay, he's expensive, but that still has value. Joey Bosa on that side of 30, I don't associate. Now, I don't think, because Bosa had this toe thing. Here's what, like, his numbers are going to be down because I don't know how messed up it is to try and play for several games shooting up your foot. It was
a huge injury for a pass rusher.
Joey Bosa.
Huge.
Isn't Khalil Mack a free agent?
Yeah, he's also a free agent.
Yeah.
Wow, so they don't have...
It's
cleaning house.
This is what rebuilds look like. Hey, and also I have a really great Khalil Mack.
They made the playoffs.
I have a good Khalil Mack story. I'll be really fast. So I went to the University of Toledo, right? The God's favorite university. Toledo. And I came in with a rookie running back named Jalen Parmalee. He's from Midland, Michigan.
Is he related to
Bernie Parmalee?
Not related to Bernie Parmalee.
But I believe they were both Dolphins.
But he was drafted by the Miami Dolphins after our senior year. This guy was a freak specimen. I'm talking about 6'1", 230 pounds. He ran a 4.3. He vertical jumped 43 inches. He did not have an ounce of fat on him. Like when we would be in the light, it was like, yo, that dude looks different than the rest of us, okay? He comes into his own. He has a really good junior and senior year, and he becomes a 6th-round pick. Well, he had these tattoos on his arm that said, Florida-born, Michigan-raised. He was adopted. And we would always joke with him like, Jalen, you were in Florida for 2 days. Like you're not really from there. You're from Michigan. But he didn't know his birth family. All right.
Wait a second.
Fast forward.
He didn't know his birth family.
He didn't know.
Maybe it is Bernie Parmalee.
He didn't know his birth family. Okay. Fast forward. Okay. So a couple years ago, he calls me and he's like, "Hawk, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good." We actually played together in Cleveland, which was really cool. Me, him, and John Greco, who were freshmen together. We all played for Cleveland in the year we went 1-15. There's a whole other conversation there. We won't get into it. Legends. So then he calls me a couple years ago and he's like, "Yo, Hawk, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good, man. Haven't heard from you. How you been?" "I'm good. I found my birth family." I'm like, "Dude, congratulations, man. That's awesome." I believe his adopted family, they were sick. Something happened where he wanted to get information about his medical history. And so I think he maybe on Ancestry.com. Anyway, he found an uncle, found his birth family. He's like, "Yeah, I met them. I'm going to meet them for the first time next week." I'm like, "That's awesome, bro. Like, what is it? What are they like?" He's like, "I look just like my dad. And 2 of my brothers," he has 3 brothers, 2 of them are in the NFL. And I'm like, "What? That's crazy." He said, "Yeah, Khalil Mack is my brother."
That's better than being related to Bernie Parmalee.
Same mom, same dad. And Khalil Mack was his brother. You talk about crazy NFL stories.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. Who's in your support system and how have they changed your life? Think about your favorite leaders, mentors, idols. They don't all have the answers, but they do know when to ask for help. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, we sometimes forget that we thrive with support. We're stronger, healthier, and more resilient when we have people to lean on. Therapy is one of the best ways to build that support system. It helps with positive coping skills, setting boundaries, and becoming the best version of yourself. Here's the thing, therapy isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. It's for everybody. Whether you're facing a big life transition, feeling overwhelmed, or just want to grow, therapy can help. That's where BetterHelp comes in. With over 30,000 credentialed therapists, you can find somebody who truly understands you. It's fully online, making therapy accessible, affordable, and convenient. No waiting rooms, no long commutes, just the support you need, whenever and wherever you need it. And by the way, if you ever feel like switching therapists, it's no cost to you whatsoever. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
All right, I know I got to do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Le Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, "Ah." It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics lip gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at NYXCosmetics.com or a retailer near you.